Welcome, everybody, to the AV Exchange. I am Joe Dunbar, your host. We're presented by Starin. Very excited today. We got Logitech in the house. I'm excited every week, you guys, because it's always fun. We've got Logitech in the house, a couple of folks on the call with them. I know we got Mike in the house. We've got Pike in the house. If you've done this with us before, you've met these guys before. Real sharp about the Logi stuff in addition to other things, and super fun to talk to. So I'm really looking forward to grilling those guys. I hope you've got your questions ready, and I'm excited to chat with everyone. I'm going to flip over here, and we're going to look at the agenda real quick. Like I said, we've got Pike and Mike in the house from Logitech. Today, we're going to be looking at the Logitech Sight and doing a little bit of a dive into that, how it works with the Rally Bar, and talk about smart switching, which is how kind of in tandem the Sight and the Rally Bar work together. There's some AI and algorithms. I'll let Pike tell you guys about it, but I'm excited to see a live demo of it. We'll take a look at the room configurator and some Logi essentials. We like to go through the housekeeping stuff before we get into it with Pike and the team over there. Please use the Q&A for questions. It just helps us keep everything organized and orderly and make sure that we get you your question answered. Go ahead and use the chat for comments. I love to tell people sound off. Let us know where you're coming from. I'm up in Minnesota for another couple weeks anyway. And also, if you've had any experiences, if we're talking about a Logitech Rally Bar and you have had a positive or even not a great experience, let us know in the chat. Let's talk about it. We can use it. We've got the guys from Logitech in front of us, so let's use that time wisely. I will launch a brief poll right now if I can get over to it. There's two questions on it. We really always just want to know, who are we talking to? Systems integrators, end users, other, people in distribution, reps, where do you kind of fall in the channel, and how familiar you are with Logitech? That at least just kind of lets us know who we're working with here. So I appreciate everybody digging into that. Lastly, stick around for the end. We do a giveaway, we do a raffle. Logitech has been generous enough to donate one of the new headsets. So there's a Logi Zone 305 headset being given away. We do a random name generator with all of the attendees, but you will get your name thrown in there again for good questions. So don't throw random questions at us, but if you've got some good ones that are relevant to the material, we definitely want to hear them, and we will definitely make sure that you get some love for that. So without further ado, gentlemen, Logitech, Mike, welcome. Pike, you got a room full of people. For the folks who don't know, if you guys want to give yourselves an introduction, that'd be great. Mike, we could start with you.
Everybody doesn't know me. I'm Mike Freibrun. I'm National Account Manager, Channel Account Manager. I manage the entire business for Logitech with Starin.
Wonderful partner. We love working with you. Mike, Pike, you got a room full of people, man. You're hosting a party.
I know. I brought a great group of colleagues here. Before I have them introduce, I actually want to first really get into kind of what we're demoing today, and then I'll have the group introduce themselves as we kind of go around the table. So this real quick disclaimer, right? Again, I love doing these sessions with Joe and the team at Starin. And what we've decided is to sometimes give you a bit of a early preview. So you may notice my OCD is bugging me terribly. Like this mic is not permanently placed. This space is where we kind of host sometimes webinars, certain trainings, but this room is not running on production firmware. And that's kind of exciting, mind the fact that this is all I see. This is why it's great that we have cable management and that we actually have a mic pod mount for the mic pod. See, always a sales engineer. That being said, we actually are running this room on a beta preview. And at the end of this demo, we'll talk a little bit more on how you can eventually enroll your room or your client's room into the beta that covers a new version of Sight. But before we kind of get into that, just our audience, right? Some of you may know our tabletop camera Sight, and I'm going to just quickly manually zoom in. I promised Joe that today we're going to keep the slides to minimal. So there's a tabletop camera here. And then, of course, I have the Rally Bar below the display. What we're showcasing today is how the two are going to work seamlessly together. So Sight is really trying to solve one problem, and I'm actually trying to highlight this problem. If we had multiple people here, let's talk about problem number one. I could be kind of leaning forward, and now we have, his name is Lewis, but it's kind of like Where's Waldo? What you get that effect, right? Like I lean forward, and I've just, are we with 4 people in the room or 5? I lost count. So that's one problem. the other problem is I'm making eye contact with the far end, but maybe I'm having a conversation with Lisa here. See, I'm actually introducing people already. Sorry. And now all you see is the back of the head or the side, right? So, not to mention that you're looking at us and we're starting to become looking like miniatures, right? How well can you see my facial expression? Maybe you're watching this webinar on a 105-inch screen, but I think the majority of you are probably not. So how do we make this more immersive? And this is where we launched Sight. It's been over a year now, I think, like 14 months, give or take. We've launched Sight, and the reason for Sight, and we've been, quite frankly, been developing this since 2018, is to combat this exact problem. Now, when we launched Sight, what we would do is we would show the in-room video, and then Sight would capture active participants. So it's really solving that problem, creating a much more immersive experience for the far end. The one part that we were working hard on developing is like, that is great, but what if I now transition back and have a conversation with the far end? Now the side camera is actually capturing the side of my head. So, you're fixing one problem, but now you're kind of introducing another one depending on where you're positioned in the room. So today we are going to switch now to basically, you can look at it as speaker focus, right? Our own technology is speaker view. Each video service provider adds a bit of a different naming convention. But when that is enabled, so that the speaker focus, the active speaker Sight will be enabled, and it's actually going to frame us in separate tiles and start capturing the active speaker. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. So we're going to really show you the difference from going kind of to that conventional bowling alley, right? Again, disclaimer, this is beta. So as you can see, we're still working out, like I'm a hitchhiker because of the distance that I'm sitting at with Lewis here. So that's something that is being worked on. So this is a very early preview that we're showcasing. So you can see I am cloned here. And we're going to go ahead and reset that. Keep in mind, yeah, there we go.
Mike, I think you said at the beginning, but I just want to remind folks, we are looking at a beta preview. Is that
we are
right?
looking at a beta preview, indeed. Yeah. So this is not on production. This is under development as we speak. And I think they just deployed a test version. So this is not even the beta that our customers see. Engineering is using this. But I just kind of wanted to put everyone at the forefront. As you can see, it's now capturing me on the site. So as I'm having a conversation with Davis or with Lisa, the far end is still very much engaged. It's also capturing my voice from the side. And as I decide to kind of transition back to having a conversation with Joe, for instance, as you can see now, it switched me to the rally bar. So I'm now being framed on the rally bar. Again, no hands, everybody. I'm not using a secret remote. No one's under the table doing anything here, I promise. This is, AI at its best, right? This is, it's been a very ambitious, AI project for us. And we're super excited to, within the near future, we're probably looking at anywhere between 4 to 8 weeks. This will actually get launched to production. So with that, I think we can just kick things off with intros. We'll start on the right of me. You want to introduce yourself?
My name is Louis Rodriguez. I'm a solutions lead for our support organization here.
And what do you do to keep the lights on here?
I actually help keep our support organization in line with what's going on, new features, new updates.
All my annoying questions that
Yeah,
I throw at you.
questions about
perspective. Don't forget that.
escalations from customers. So I have that interface between our product engineering team and our support organization. So
yeah, again, I always appreciate being on the calls with you and the team as you kind of walk us through, the current open issues, when the fixes are going to go live, how we can best service our customers with potential workarounds and so forth. So yeah, communication is key. We absolutely appreciate it. Yeah. Lisa.
Hi, I'm Lisa Taylor. I am an EA. I support the B2B NAM sales and marketing team. And Pike and I have been working together for over
20 years. Yeah, I'm going on 19.
I
Right?
did your relocation. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Crazy. Yeah.
Yes.
We're both
That's a
dinosaurs.
tough
We are
one.
dinosaurs, yes. So I'm always happy to support Pike in any way. I feel like I've always been here.
We appreciate it. Yeah. Lisa is a great
I'm
colleague,
the
friend.
dinosaur. I'm the one been here a long time.
Yeah, and I literally asked Lisa to volunteer for this, like literally like 15 minutes ago. On it.
Perfect
Yeah.
timing.
All right. Mr. Busybody on the laptop. I also just asked him like literally 20 minutes ago.
No, you got this 2 weeks ago.
Appreciate you doing
Hey,
that.
everybody. My name is Davis Nguyen. I'm a global solutions manager here at Logitech. I work with many different groups here. And my analogy for what I do is I am the mechanic on the tarmac. You know, I check the plane, check the tires, the fuel. I make sure things are ready for liftoff. What we're doing with Sight is really exciting. You know, we're still in beta. There's still a couple glitches. It's funny. I was taking notes on what was going on, so I give it to our QA team to just better define and better refine our software.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always brave demoing beta. And yeah, it comes with an inherent risk, but I just love to show the technology where we're at the forefront of things. And what's unique to what we're doing with Sight, and there's just no other product that's doing this at the market right now, is that this is not group switching. It's not switching all of us, you know, from one camera to the other.
Right.
It is actually doing this on an individual basis. So it's capturing that head and torso accurately.
Yeah, it's something exciting. You know, it's there's been many ideas about 360 cameras, right? Some of them are a bit intrusive. They move, they light up, but this thing is stationary, right? And then right now, as Pike and I are talking, and Pike says something, I just start flipping out.
See David pulling his eyes already.
Catch.
Usually me, but yeah.
No, but Pike's great, and we're excited to demo this. And also, it probably show you guys the horsepower of what we're working with, right? The grabbing is pretty strong and fast, but we're going to fine tune that for the customers. You know, it's going to come out soon.
Yeah, and on that point, what's great is that customers can actually, you can actually fine tune the transition time of when it's actually framing someone, so someone's head and torso, right? And how quickly it's going to pick up an active speaker. But what you also see here, what it's doing, it's taking its time to pan, tilt, zoom, because the last thing we want to do is create motion sickness, right? So it's very important that, the developers that we have working on this are super passionate about it. It needs to be like almost like a cinematic experience. So, because far too often have we seen solutions out there where it's over aggressive when it comes to quickly capturing someone. It needs to be a smooth transition for the far end. So, awesome.
Yeah, it's usually. I really appreciate meeting everyone. And
we got one more, Joe.
It's
a big group today.
All right, I'll make it quick. My name is Jochen Eidam. I'm the category manager for all of the video conferencing products for North America. What that means is I'm looking after all kind of things, getting new products lined up for the sales folks, making sure the pricing is right, looking to make sure that our supply is ready. By the way, on that note, we have lots of supply lined up for the Sight product, especially in anticipation of the software getting released with the smart switching capabilities. We have a lot of big customers really kind of looking for that kind of to hit the uptake path. And I'm not sharing details I can, but we have customers lined up. I would say high triple digits in terms of deployments that they're looking at.
And you keep busy with that.
That will be super exciting once we see those larger deployments go out. So thanks to everyone on your ends. I was engaged. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'll make sure we have product ready to ship.
I really appreciate it. Yeah. Jochen doesn't give himself enough credit. Instrumental when it comes to also communicating to the sales team, the engineering, kind of where we are from, supply chain, NPIs that are coming at the forefront. Always, again, keeping us up to date, right? Communication is key. So, Excellent. Well, again, I really want to appreciate and thank you everyone for joining this kind of, some of you I've reached out, some of it ad hoc. Really appreciate you guys helping me kind of showcase this technology. With that being said, class dismissed. I want to make sure you guys get time back to your inbox. I mean, you're welcome to stay. This is going to be a great session, but you guys have, of course, many other important things to do, I'm sure.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Straight to the lab.
Thank you all so much for joining us.
Yeah, go follow that bug.
Pike, this is a good,
Sorry, Joe.
good opportunity for us. We got a couple of questions piling in already. Let me get to the order right now. Okay, so Christopher had asked, we were just curious about what microphones are being used in the room, if that was a rally mic or if the microphones are built into the site, which way you going with that?
I love it. So, that's a great question. And I think, I said I wasn't going to do slides, but I'm a bit of a slide fanatic because I do love showing visuals as we have this conversation, right? So when it comes to sites, and I know I'm going to make sure the team there is ready.
Well, you put in the slides, I'll answer his question. How about that?
Love it.
So,
yes.
The greatest thing about our rally bar, right? There are built-in microphone array on the bar in the front. Right here, you guys look at the P&P. There is a mic pod right here, and again, mute options for the customer. Right? But also inside our site, we will have a microphone array here too. So again, maximizing the coverage of the room, making sure that everyone is heard.
Yeah, thank you, David. That's great. And what you can also see here that it actually both the mic pods, the rally bar, and the site has an indicator light. So what does that mean? It actually shows you if there is a call on right now, the rally bar has a white light, the site has a white light, the mic pod has a white light. As soon as I mute, it turns to red. So great question. So it's, 7 beamforming mics. They cover 15 feet in diameter. So I can be within 7.5 feet without any issues. And then, of course, the mic pod has that same coverage. And you can see we kind of space them, a good spacing is about 7 feet. You don't want to get any closer than 4. You get some decent overlap. Now, I'm a big fan of any partner I speak to, and then we're going to send a couple of links. So because we don't have time to go fully in depth on that. But we've enabled speaker boost. So that disables the built-in microphones, and we're only leveraging the microphones on the table because at the end of the day, this is a different type of mic design. And this way, my voice will never have to travel all the way back to the rally bar. I will be much closer to these microphones. And it's not picking everything up. So there is that flexibility. If you're going to use both, then you need to space them a lot more. But I'm a big fan of disabling the built-in microphones. And we're going to actually share that in an article as well on that topic. And I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing there. I'm also going to share an article because some of you may want to know, okay, how do I get into that beta? So with Sync, we have update channels, including the beta channel. So I'll be sending an article that you can review, and it kind of guides you how to enroll a room into our beta as well. So go ahead, Joe. What else you got?
Oh man, that's fantastic. A bunch of good questions. I just want to shout out real quick though. I'm such a proponent for proximity in audio. A lot of people talk about audio and how important it is and your space and all of these things, but like the number one thing you can do to help improve the sound quality is get the sound source closer to the sound capture. I mean, that helps take so many things out of it. And so what we're doing here, right, with the rally bar microphones, the mic pods out on the table, and the microphones in the site, like that gives you the ability then to get the closest to the sound
Joe,
source.
100%. You're referring to you talk about voice destination, right? The shorter that distance is, the better the quality. I'm actually personally, I think I sound a little bit nasally, but with our microphones and the way it is, it picks up pretty clear. And we have
some control too. I'm louder. Well, we're both loud, but I'm another level.
No, Pike. No one's loud in Pike. That's why you're called Pike. But no, it's part of that technology, right? That improves the user experience, right? For those of you on the far end, you get to experience and see us, right? That's what video collaboration is all about.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. We had another question from Nick. Nick, man, I'm not even Nick. I always mess up your last name, so I'm not going to say it. But Nick wants to know what, if any, mounting options may be available for Sight. You know, is there anything on the roadmap or down the road? What are we looking at for potential mounting options? We were just having a back and forth in the chat for this meeting here with some of the people about customers who don't want anything on the table. And we all know how that goes. Yeah. So let's look at some options here. Oh, right. They're ready for us, you guys.
So I think this is reference to, there's other vendors out there that have decided to also mount this from the ceiling. We are exploring different ways of installation. The thing that we have discovered is, and then this is the same reason why anytime I talk to a partner, anytime we can set the bar at eye level is a win, right? Anytime you mount it above, it makes sense for a AV card with a touch panel when someone's in front of it, because that's not very elegant capturing in here. But when you're sitting, you always want to be within that 45 inch height, from the actual floor. And that gives you that best experience, right? Versus that kind of security god look. I still have my hair here, but that might go away too. It avoids that kind of top down effect. So at this point, we haven't really had much of an ask for that. I've seen it in the industry. Sometimes people want to differentiate, but the use case is not as practical. And when it comes to mounting, we are very flexible. Like this is, a room where things change a lot. So you can see things are just coming out of the cable wells. But that being said, my favorite is using the actual grommet mount, which is the same grommet that we basically use for our mic pods. So you can, even if you have an existing configuration, you're going to upgrade this customer to Sight. They already have a rally bar with a mic pod. You can take the mic pod out and put the Sight there. That being said, you can add additional mic pods to the Sight. So this is kind of an overview of kind of how we mount that. But great question, Nick.
Yeah, awesome. I love to see that. I gotta say, I do appreciate this stance that, like, look, I'm trying to think about how I want to word this quite right, you guys. I appreciate the stance that you guys are taking, that like not how it's designed, not necessarily how we intend it to be used per se. And here are the reasons why, and here's why we're staying away from it. A, the transparency I really appreciate. And B, that just helps us down the channel understand where and when to position this thing, right? We do have, not all the time, but like often enough, we run into folks who just, for whatever reason, I do this all the time. Like, how about table microphones? I really love table microphones because they're closer to the sound source, and people just don't want anything on the table. That's okay. There are other solutions for that. So I appreciate the transparency. We got one more in the hopper right now. Who was it? Pat Mahoney wants to know what is the latest expected release for the ability to pair two or more. I would say two or more. Pat said 2 sights to a rally bar. I'm going to say multiple sights. Is that on the roadmap?
It is. I mean, it is. And feel free to pitch in. Davis may have more intel than I do. But before I pass it on to Davis, we are so committed, right? If you actually flip the bottom of the Sight, it actually shows an icon for adding, that shows an image of a mic pod and a Sight, because it's basically our commitment to show that eventually this will be a future upgrade. So it is on our roadmap. The team is actively working on that, but we don't have a timeline yet. But feel free. You want to chime in on that?
Yeah. Hey everybody. So as of today, we're keeping that kind of under wraps. Honestly, the team, we're furiously working to perfect this smart switching first.
Yeah.
And we have some tricks on our sleeves. Some of the platform partners are asking for certain features, so that's on our roadmap. And I can say this: it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Yeah.
Right. We're trying to get this smart switching software to GA first. And I'm not a betting man. If I were, you'll probably hear something, within the next 2 quarters after that.
Yeah.
That's what I'll say as of today.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty safe bet, because that exactly it's walk before you run. But this is exactly what we want to get to, right? In these larger boardrooms, to have the ability for not just one site, but actually two sites. So that is cooking in the kitchen as we speak. Great question, though. Also, want a little shout out. We're going to switch gears soon into another exciting topic. It's really hard to move away from this. I've noticed because it's such cool technology. But
can we, Pike? I know we got room configurator.
Yes.
Can we squeeze in
Yes.
one more question
Yes.
before we move on? Just because it's topical,
Definitely.
right? Christopher wants to know if the mic pod, site, and bar are connected via network, directed directly to each other. What is that like?
You
topology
answer.
look like?
I'll bring the slides.
Okay, so what we've done, right, is my group and I was kind of like an IT guy myself. They call me the cable hog, right? And that's a huge problem that a lot of companies have, right? And we were able to ruffle the feathers here to our product team enough. And now a lot of our connection and our connection before will be category. So there's two RJ45s going to the site. One is for power through a PoE injector, and the other one is going back to the rally bar as a hardline data connection. Because again, the site is a companion and the bar is his friend, and they're doing work together to do the smart switching. So, we try to get down to one wire, but we're able to get down to two. So, pretty proud of that, actually.
Mhm.
And then the bonus feature too is with inside Sight, for those of you who have done our mic pods used to be daisy chain, right? Well, instead of running a brand new daisy chain for additional mic pods from our bar, you daisy chain it off the bottom of Sight. So Sight is technically a hub now too. So you're able to spread off that.
Awesome.
Yep.
That's really cool. So it doubles as a mic pod hub, helps keep things clean, keeps your cables organized and simplified. I love that.
No more running
that.
3 or 4
Good
wires
question.
from the front. It'll be 2 wires and then everything off of that. Yep.
Awesome. We got to get power to it somehow.
Yep.
I get it. Christopher, great question. Appreciate that. Folks, keep the questions coming if you got them, Pike. We can release it and move it on to the next topic.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate
I
it.
get to offer one. Cheers.
Thanks for joining, Davis. It was a good time.
Thank you so much. Yes.
So, on to the next topic. I'm again. This is after the site and all the technology that we're putting into this amazing room add-on. The one thing that I'm super excited to share with you guys is our brand new room configurator. And just a little background of my passion, right? I transitioned into a different role about 1.5 years ago. So I'm working directly with distributors. So I work really close with the Starin team. Used to be an enterprise. Now I'm really kind of that right-hand SC for our distributors. The one thing that I really identified was that the configurator that we had in the past just wasn't cutting it. And it was really designed for customers, which is great. But what about our partners, right? So that's something I've been driving hard. And we finally got the blessing to really start kicking off a project. And really proud to share this with you guys today. Some of you may know, well, we didn't hear about a configurator. Where's all the marketing? That is coming. So it's a bit of a soft launch because we really wanted to transition to a new vendor that's working with us, 3Kit. So kudos to them. They've been an amazing team. Fun fact, they're actually joining this call. Some of them are actually on this call. So it's great for them to kind of observe and see kind of the questions that you guys might have once I kind of walk you through this demo. I'm super excited to kind of showcase this. I'm going to start sharing my screen. Definitely looking forward to your questions. The one thing I want to mention is that this is just the start, guys. We are just getting started. We foresee adding tons of additional experiences, further catering to partners as well, so end users and partners. But this is what, again, that was my vision. Like, if we're going to do a new configurator, number one, we need the partner flow. And over time, this is going to be actually embedded in our partner portal. So what is the difference, right? Right now, is there a significant difference between the flow? Not yet, but this opens up the door to differentiate. But most important, what our partners will really appreciate, that this doesn't go into a sales opportunity, right? Because the partner flow is the partner presenting a room to an end user. Maybe they want to just kind of build the bomb and send it to Joe and team and say, okay, can you quote this out? And I do not need to be, contacted by Logitech sales rep. So wasting their time and wasting our time. So you don't get that Marketo form, as we call it, right? So you don't have to fill in all your information. Right now, it's just an email, because we're trying to see how popular and who is using this. So we've also expanded the amount of rooms that we cater to. So from up to 2 people, starting with 2 people to 20 plus for those classrooms, training rooms. Right now, we're going to actually showcase the medium room, and again, we'll be sending you the link for the configurator as well. And ideally, what you do is you bookmark the actual page where it starts on the partner flow. Over time, we're going to have that in the partner portal as well. So this is where this helps too. Like, sometimes we have sales reps in the channel, in distribution, that are quite new. They're on the phone. The partner might be a new consultant. This is such an important question, right? What is the actual primary video conferencing platform that you're going to standardize on? Or is it always going to be BYOD? So I'm already seeing, tremendous improvement, because, some new reps that just haven't had a whole lot of training are able to carry that conversation and kind of use this as the baseline, as the configurator is kind of guiding them through that. So
Here's their script.
exactly. Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Yeah.
You don't have to put too much thought into it. It's going to guide you along the way. Just as, the difference between the different deployment types, right? You have appliance-based, running it natively on a video bar, or, with a roommate for larger spaces, or PC-based, right? Running it actually on a Windows compute for Microsoft Teams, or a CTL Chromebox for Google, for instance, right? So we're going to select appliance. And here, why is this so important? So what we've seen sometimes, like take a new rep or new partner or new end user. Of course, I know all the crazy nuances, but and it's even hard for sometimes the Starin team, because they need to know everything about Logitech, but then all the other vendors out there, right? But this doesn't really relate to Logitech, but certain vendors, right? If we take the room controller, our tab, right? We have 2 versions of tab. We have an IP version, right? That is network connected and you configure. And then we have a USB version that is using network cable as an extender, but it's still a USB device. Now, why is this important? And I've seen this mistake happening many, many times, where someone may quote a tap IP for a Microsoft Teams room on Windows, not supported yet. Microsoft may change that. If we go on the Google side, right, Google in an appliance, their long term is to support both our taps. But right now, Google only supports the tap IP for the appliance. So you see where I'm going. That's a lot to remember. For me, it's 1 + 1, but I can't expect the industry, all our partners, to constantly remember that, especially as they're new to maybe offering, video collaboration as part of their services, right? So the beauty of this, it knows, right? Like, we've been working hard with the team. We have all kinds of data tables. Like, if it's this, only present that. If it's that, only present this, right? So, and then what I'm also excited about is now that you can actually select the TEA version. So you can select, the rally bar, if you want it in graphite, or if you want it in white, right? If you want it, wall mounted, or mounted, with the TV mount. And then, of course, we're gonna, I think today everyone's pretty much sold on Sight. So why would you not bring this conversation with your customer? And again, this is a great example, right? You can throw this up on your laptop when you're doing an on-site visit with your customer, right? So it gets better, because not only does it show the room, And this is again where we're still fine tuning. So I want to come back again to the point that why we haven't done a full marketing campaign yet. We're still adding some smaller little incremental features and a couple small bug fixes. Once it's got that, blessing, and I'm having a fun job being kind of the QA guy. So definitely, if you find stuff, you know where to find me. We're always looking for feedback and even feature enhancements. And so, but here's a huge enhancement. It is an entire 3D model. And not only can you kind of, show the room, you can even zoom in and out. So it's really cool. So
Wow.
the customer gets a, good understanding of, how that looks like. But, wait a minute, I want a white side, right? So, and then what's also great is that, you can click on the product, right? So, we talked about Sight. So maybe you want to, they're exploring, right? So you can actually look at it and, well, does it really bring? So you may not have time to demo Sight, but look, I'm just trying to make it a little easier for you. You can do it right there. All right.
This is a
Mike,
I was just going to say, this is a great
Sorry, go ahead.
sales
Go ahead,
tool.
Mike.
So not just to end users,
A
but
builder.
for
Yeah.
the resellers, salespeople. As I'm training in this at Starin, the salespeople on the reseller side can use this on their desktop when a customer asks, what do you think I should get? Whether they share it or not, but they are now looking at this. They're learning about it. They're selling it. It's easy. We all know an easy path is the best path. Right. So this is
Yeah.
where this helps. And the job that Pike and the guys that did on this is amazing because I've been playing with this and training on this. So, and it's very smart. It'll actually show you the accessories. Yeah. Don't have to think that hard. It's doing it for you. Right.
Mike, I appreciate you stressing that point. I had a call supporting our sales team earlier this week with a partner who we've done business with for a while. Haven't done a lot of Logitech business with them. They're interested in getting to learn more about Logitech. We did an intro with them, and when you do an intro on a new line, something you're not familiar with, it's a lot of information download. There's a ton of things to know and remember, and you're not going to learn to know and remember them all in that motion. So one of the things I asked them to leave with was like, look, the configuration tool is your friend. It will help you learn what parts work with what pieces. It'll help you have the conversation and learn what questions to ask. One thing that, integrators that I've worked with are not trying to do is tell their customers, look, we haven't done a lot of Logitech in the past. Maybe we are learning and we are using our partners to support us. Here's a resource they gave us that makes, this easier. So that kind of opens up the conversation and leaves the integrator in a spot where they don't have to know everything or have to look like they know everything.
Exactly.
Mike, I have a piece for you. This might get controversial because I feel like integrators would love it, and I feel like it would be a nightmare to program on your side. But maybe down the road with configuration tool, I have to imagine in the partner path, one tool that Logitech has been awesome with is the wiring diagram and the library for that. And if you haven't seen it yet, I'll drop a link in the chat. Please check it out. You can reach out to me. It's a wiring diagram Bible for all your Logitech parts. It shows virtually any supported Logitech configuration with Logitech parts and pieces and the wiring schematic for it. So I got to imagine as a next layer of this, if I could build out my room and also get a wiring diagram with it, that would be pretty popular.
Yeah, it's
but I
a
cannot
great
imagine
question. So you're going to laugh at this. We were trying to scope that out even in a 3D model, but there is so many other things that I want to do, being able to switch from single display to dual display to show that the TV mount should only be used on a single display and the wall mount is recommended for that. When we started scoping that out, and just shout out to one of our PMs, Alan Smith. He's doing such a phenomenal job with the 2D wire diagrams that I think what I'm going to want to do is I want to just eventually get to a point that we can just say, here is your reference page. You build this config. There it is. Would I love 3D? One day, we need to really, you're already doing a great job selling it. The more traffic we get, the more I can go back to say, okay, we need to add more resources, more budget, do more, right? We're just getting started. This is a fun thing that I love doing. So notice I selected 2 mic pods. This is something I constantly have to educate new partners on. This is what happens, right? Someone buys 2 mic pods and they're not using the mic pod mount. I'm a big fan of it, but maybe it's glass. Maybe they can't drill, but there are cable wells. Because they're daisy chained, You don't want, like what I'm showing here, but this is temporary. You don't want that ugly cable that you can see here, right? And especially think of about if you have two, maybe you don't have a sight or you have a sight. The sight can connect the mic pop, but now you got to go the other way. Right. So what it is doing, it's automatically selecting the mic pod. You can't mess it up. It's doing the thinking for you. Right. So not only it says recommended. Again, if I know what I'm doing, maybe I have a use case that I don't need it. You can unselect it. But this is some of the smart logic that I've been working on with the team. Notice this. It's not adding the mic pod cat coupler. You may be like, why? I need that. You need it when you're not installing a site. So if I would have gone through this flow, not selected a site, it would have selected the cat coupler because you need that extension cable. In this scenario, it's actually running the mic pods right from the site. This is where, someone that just started, their new sales position or a new partner, they don't need to know all of this. So they're going to build the right BOM without being on site and like, oh, wait a minute, we're missing a part or we have an extra part, right? This is the kind of the stuff that I geek out on, that smart logic that, we in the team have been working on. So a couple more cool things. I know we're getting on time.
Hold on, Pike. Hold on. We are. We got about 16 minutes here, 10 to 60 minutes. We did get a question from the audience that lands right with the page you're on. So if you scroll back up to the top of that parts selection, Christopher wanted to know, it just asked if we could give a quick review of the differences between the TAP and the TAP IP. They are small and light. So if we could just touch on that real quick. I saw them listed at the top and it was like, there's our moment.
Yes, no, it's a great question. I'm going to go ahead. I have a slide for that. So I'm going to reshare my slide deck here. So it's a great question. So, super important question comes up on a daily basis, right? So TAP IP on the right, PoE, and it can do Wi-Fi or Ethernet. So if the network drop underneath has a PoE, or again, it ties into a server room that can connect it to a PoE port or switch, you're in business and it will do the network too. If you don't have a network drop, but you have power, you can put in a PoE injector, right? And that PoE injector will feed it instead of the data port. You just give it power and connect it to the Wi-Fi. And that MSRP on this guy is $699. The regular TAP MSRP is $999. It does have an HDMI ingest, which is supported for PC-based deployments. Eventually, it will be supported for appliance-based from the bar, but the reason is HDMI routing. The bar already has HDMI ingest. So I want to make sure that everyone knows if you're speccing out TAP IP, you could still do HDMI ingest. Sometimes it's needed. It's becoming less popular because wireless sharing is becoming a lot easier, but sometimes they have a room where you have outside vendors. We understand it. You could still run it from the bar with an HDMI extender. This is using Cat5e, right, as an extension, but it's still a USB device. So that is the quick rundown. Again, great questions. Again, we're doing this session based on your feedback. We love hearing questions, and that's at the forefront. Coming back to the configurator, real quick. What you're going to see here in a second is what I'm pulling up here. So not only does it show the tap, just this, again, another cool thing, it actually shows that it's wall mounted right now. So you can, and notice because I selected Teams on Android, so MTROA, the acronym, right, on the appliance, I can do both tap and tap IP. If I did PC, you wouldn't even see tap IP. We're going to make sure that you can't build a bomb that doesn't work for the solution, right?
This comes back to that logic,
exactly. Right? Yeah, it's like your little assistant SC, So
won't let you wander off the path. I like that.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. So I can retire now. Not quite, but we're working on it.
Please don't. No.
So I'm going to just quickly finish this because there's so much exciting stuff to show. And then accessories. It's so important to show the customers, why do I need a scheduler, a tap scheduler? Because I want to make sure that I can actually book the room from, if I walk by, or I can actually see if there's someone in the room. And you can see it even shows the angle mount. And this is how smart it is. You cannot build a zebra. You can do that with Sight, but not with the angles mount. Because if I select white, again, kudos to the team, right? If I have the angle mount selected, here's it's gonna populate here. Let's just wait for it. There it is. So it's on the angle mount. Let me just navigate. If I go back to graphite, it also selects the angle mount in graphite. You can't mess it up. You can't break it. That's the beauty. Again, kudos to the 3Kit team, did a great job. They also built the configurator for a partner Steelcase. So it's again, it's been great working with that team. This is, again, I cannot speak enough to this, and we are probably going to run out, and we were going to cover today essentials, but we're not going to get to that. So we'll save that for another day. But it's so important to talk about services, right? We have basic services that is, again, free. It's 8 to 8 Eastern, Monday to Friday. You can add additional warranty, but you're still going through the same basic support. Next day turnaround, you file a ticket, you talk to Tier 1, select night and day. It's 24/7, direct access to Tier 2, and you get the entire essential service plan. You get next day RMA, so we ship it out, and the turnaround time, also from a response time, is the SLO is 60 minutes, but within usually averaging 10 to 15 minutes, you'll be speaking to a Tier 2 rep, no more Tier 1. So again, it's like that SE, right? These guys are phenomenal. They're on the same calls with my colleague Lewis, right? Where they're advocating for bugs, like when are we going to fix this bug or work with Microsoft or Zoom to get this fixed, right? They're advocates. All of that comes with Select, and it covers everything in the room. So instead of buying warranty for the Sight, for the mic pod, for the rally bar, etc., right? Everything is covered under the room, so it's much easier to cover. Last part. I know we're looking at the clock, but this is I'm saving almost the best for last, right? Because what we're going to show you here real quick, and I'll make sure that Mike gets his airtime in there as well, is that this builds a bomb with part numbers, but it gets so much better. I can add multiple rooms. I can view the room with all the entire price list in MSRP, right? And to make things even better, right? So you can see everything is here. I'm going to scroll through that, right? And I'll zoom out a little bit. I'm kind of on the world's tiniest laptop, including services. I can download the CSV file. But what I've done, I use this. I'm a customer as well. I will build sometimes an NFR with, a Starin rep on the call, or with just a new partner. And, we're discussing 2 rooms. Why don't we just build them? And guess what? This share link, right? I can copy this link, and I'm going to put it in the Zoom chat. I'm not sure if you guys in the Q&A session can actually throw that in for the audience.
I'll drop it in there.
Because you can actually view that yourself. You guys can now see the bomb that I built. And I'm going to pause here because I know Joe, Mike, you guys want some airtime in too.
No, I'm in there. I'm already looking at it. So the one thing I just wanted to say when we went back to the services, there's 2 other pieces. If you then, let's say you buy most of the sales with a 3-year warranty, but let's say in the second year, you decide to add in a scribe. Now that scribe is in its first year warranty. When you add that into a Select Services room, that automatically becomes part of that room. So when you put a new SKU in there, that picks the warranty for Select Services, automatically grab that SKU. So now that's covered. Also, is it, when you do 50 rooms, it's a free demo gear to one location?
On-site spare kit in the fine print here, and a dedicated service manager. And we have enterprise plans for 100 plus.
This at Logitech, we have certain competitors out there, and I won't mention 1 or 2 of them, that really make great product, don't have much service. The services part is what the IT people need. This is something superior that Logitech offers that makes us a step above other products.
And the software package, remote access. This is the last little teaser. You can, if you're running on an appliance-based solution, you can remote into the tap scheduler, the bar, everything is there, right? The data analytics, integration with ServiceNow. You get room booking included. So you may have some rooms that don't run a room solution. You can book them. Again, with our scheduling software that is included. And then, of course, the data analytics. Back to you, Joe. We took a little too much airtime there.
No, you guys are killing. I was gonna add thinking about the desk booking solution as a whole, right? That's a fantastic
Yeah.
need as well. So we're winding up here. I wish you guys could see the gymnastics I had to get through to get that link from over here to over here, but it's there. We're happy. We got a couple of links in there. I dropped the slide deck, or not the slide, but the wiring diagram link in there, as well as the configuration link in there. So Pike, Mike, thank you guys so much for joining us. All of the information. It's always a pleasure having you
The
guys
price,
on.
the giveaway before I forget.
Yes, I was just gonna say. I believe we have some items to give away. I did have. I wish we had a Brandon. We need to work on a drum roll or something. But shout out Nick Bandescu as the winner for the Zone 305 headset. Thank you to Logi for throwing that up there for us. We will be sure to get with Nick and get that.
Team certified.
get
How about this?
That was
What's that?
that was
You got the
Got the
button.
easy
There we
button.
go. I like it. Appreciate everybody joining us. We got all our questions asked. Until next time with Logitech, we will be around next week, I believe, with our friends from Jobber and Salamander. So thanks so much for joining us on the AV Exchange. We'll see you next time.